Alright, so good morning everyone. Today we're going to be starting chapter 8. We finished chapter 7 last class. I believe chapter 7 homework is available now. Yeah, chapter 7 homework is available, so it'll be due this week. And I wanted to bring something else to the class's attention. There was an assignment called the website reflection paper that I don't know what the misunderstanding was. No one seemed to have done it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open it back up till Monday and give everyone a second chance to get it in, because I don't want to have anyone get zeros on any of the assignments. I did give two lab sessions to be able to get it done, but all the directions and everything for it is on the breakdown of the assignment. But I will extend it until Monday to allow everyone another chance to get that paper in. So just keep that in mind. And then today we'll go ahead and get into chapter 8. Okay, so chapter 8 is going to deal with online retail and services. So obviously the retail in America is a huge industry. The retail industry is composed of many different types of firms. Each of these segments offers opportunities in online retail. And eating and drinking establishments is a good example of how you can use online and offline retail for reaching customers in different ways. So a lot of times restaurants, eating and drinking establishments use the web to inform people of their physical locations and menus, while others delivery via the web orders. So a lot of times that just lets you know what's up on their menus online, let you know where they're located, stuff like that. Everyone's used to that stuff. Figure 8.1 breaks down a little bit of the composition of the U.S. retail industry. Obviously, this book is a little dated, so obviously the composition has probably changed since the date of this text. But to give you a little breakdown of the different retail within the U.S. Now, online retailing is the most high-profile sector of e-commerce on the web. This sector has experienced both explosive growth and some substantial failures. First, so we're going to talk about some of the visions of e-commerce retail, what people thought it would look like. First, the internet they thought would greatly reduce both search costs and transaction costs, and that consumers would be able to use the web to find the lowest cost products. Consumers would drift to the web for shopping and purchasing, and only low-cost, high-service quality online retail merchants would survive. So you had to have a competitive advantage and really know what you're doing in order to survive in that type of an environment. Second, they assumed that the entry costs to the online retail markets were much less than those needed to establish the physical storefronts, and that the online merchants were more efficient at marketing and order fulfillment than offline stores. The third thing they had in their vision was that as prices fell, that the traditional offline stores would eventually be taken out of practice, so just pretty much getting rid of the middlemen. And new companies such as Amazon would ultimately replace these traditional stores. We can see that that's pretty much come to pass a lot of times now. They've definitely hit them hard as far as the traditional bricks and mortar stores, although they are still here. And the fourth thing they had for their vision was that some industries, particularly electronics, apparel, and digital content, the market would be disintermediated as manufacturers or their distributors entered into build a direct relationship with the customers. So once again, just destroying the intermediary or the middleman. So, and obviously, as it turns out, some of these assumptions were true and some were not. We can see obviously that there is still some retail stores and in the brick and mortar form. Not all of them have shifted directly towards just an online platform. However, a lot of the stores have been hurt, and a lot of them have been put out of business. So some things were true, some things weren't. Um, the online retail sector today is one of the smallest segments in the retail industry. And at the time of this text, it says it's about 5 to 6% of the total retail market. And obviously, it was growing at a faster rate than the offline counterparts were. So we can assume that today's percentage is much higher than it was at the time of this text. Now, I just want to point out that for the purposes of this chapter, online retail refers solely to sales of physical goods over the internet. So we're not really talking about the services they provide, just the actual physical goods over the internet. And Figure 8.2 shows a little bit of just what the online retail and business to consumer e-commerce, like just to show their growth rates. So you can see the revenues in billions down here on the left, and you can see obviously that it's just continuing to grow on an upward trajectory. Now, the internet provides a number of unique advantages and challenges to online retailers. Table 8.1 summarizes the advantages and challenges. I won't read through all of them here. So Table 8.1 at the bottom of 317, the left-hand side tells the advantages. The right one lists the challenges. I'll just read a few of them here just to get the idea of it. So some of the advantages are lower supply chain costs, lower cost of distribution, ability to reach and serve a much larger geographically distributed group, ability to react quickly to customer taste and demand, ability to change prices nearly instantly. Now, some of the advantages, some of the challenges are consumers' concerns about the security of the transactions, consumer concerns about the privacy of the personal information that they give on the web, delays in delivery of the goods or services, the inconvenience of how a return is going to be handled, and just added expenses for online photography, video, and animated presentations. So just pretty much just the normal stuff we're used to seeing for the most part, and a lot of the feelings we probably get a lot of times when searching online or purchasing online. So nice little table here, just showing some of the advantages and challenges. Next thing I'm going to get into is the multi-channel integration. So obviously this is going to be an important theme in retail. So stability of offline traditional firms. Obviously they continue to operate in their bricks and clicks or bricks and mortars type stores, but they also start to establish an online commercial or online presence as well. So obviously these traditional firms are able to integrate their web and mobile operations with their physical store operations, and it provides an integrated shopping customer experience. Table 8.2 at the bottom of 318 illustrates some of the various ways that traditional retailers have actually integrated their services on the web. So we can see on the left-hand side that there's the type of integration given with the description on the right. I'll just once again just read through a couple of these just so we get the gist of what's going on. The first type of integration is the online order and in-store pickups. So this is probably one of the first types of integration. In-store kiosk, web order, and home delivery. So when the retail store is out of stock, the customer orders the store. While they're in the store and receives it at home. We jump down to online web catalog. Sorry, I can't talk today. Online web catalog supplements offline physical catalogs, obviously. Then down near the bottom we have the mobile order, website, and physical store sales. So apps take users directly to the special formatted websites. Obviously, you just shop via the web and via that app. So just a little bit of different types of the multi-channel integration methods there. I think everyone gets the gist of what the multi-channel integration is. So the most significant changes in retail e-commerce in the year of 2012 was the explosive growth in social e-commerce and the growing ability of firms to market local services and products through the use of location-based marketing. So obviously we can see this trend. We've talked about it a lot in this class of how these social platforms are really becoming very popular, and a lot of the marketers are using these platforms to be able to locate it. I mean, it really is like the holy grail for these marketers, these social platforms, because they can get all the information they want to about people, whereas they couldn't before. Like their location, just a lot of stuff about these people is on their sites. So social e-commerce obviously refers to marketing and purchasing on social network sites. These sites are Twitter, Facebook, stuff of that sort. And these sites usually have not become major locations for customers to actually buy physical goods. Obviously, they've developed into marketing and advertising platforms more so than just people getting in there and actually going there to buy stuff. I know most people go to Facebook to be social. Usually, if you'd be referred to an outside page through one of the advertising links on that platform. Sorry, I'll blow my nose real quick, man. I'm dying up here. Man, it makes it tough to talk and do stuff when your throat hurts and you're stopped up. So next we'll get on to section 8.2, online retail business models. So obviously in chapter 2 we talked about these online retail business models a little bit. If you recall, there are 4 main types of online retail business models. The first type is the virtual merchants. Second type being the multi-channel merchandisers. The third type being the catalog merchants. And the last being the manufacturer direct firms. And obviously there's going to be some small mom and pop type firms as well. Now we'll start with virtual merchants. These are single channel web firms that generate almost all their revenues from online sales. Obviously the name, virtual merchants. Now these firms are totally online stores. They do not have to bear the cost associated with building and maintaining physical storefronts. They do face large costs in building and maintaining a website on the flip side of that. So they don't have the expense obviously of these large storefronts and warehouses and all that, but in order to keep their site up and running, then that's going to require substantial costs. And obviously building their brand name is going to be more difficult without having the actual storefronts that people can go to and actually see and experience. So they're going to have a harder time building their brand name as well. Another important factor is their order fulfillment infrastructure as well. Now, virtual merchants must achieve highly efficient operations in order to preserve a profit. Most merchants in this category adopt low cost and convenient strategies, and they pair this with extremely effective and efficient process to ensure that the customers receive what they ordered as fast as possible. So that's how they try to get an advantage here, is just to make sure that the orders are correct and that they're speedy on their delivery. The next is the multi-channel merchants, also known as bricks and clicks. These companies have a network of physical stores as their primary retail channel, but have also introduced the online websites. See, these firms are usually like Walmart or Sears or JCPenney, is something of the sort like that. So the big brand names that we're used to seeing and hearing about. So bricks and clicks merchants face high costs with physical buildings. They have large sales staffs, and obviously they're going to have an easier time building their brand name because it's already been established. So once their brand name goes online, people can actually recall and identify that brand much quicker than just the virtual merchants. They usually have a strong customer base, large warehouses, and as I said before, usually a trained staff as well. one of the biggest challenges with these multi-channel merchants is being able to coordinate their prices along the different channels between their online platforms and in their traditional brick and mortar stores. So trying to just coordinate their prices to make sure that their operations flow smoothly. So the book says that JCPenney is a prime example of one of the traditional merchants based as physical stores and having an online presence. So JCPenney opened its website in 1998 and placed a full online category or catalog online. Gosh. Multi-channel retailing is the complete integration of offline and online sales while presenting a single branded experience to the customer. So the customer can either go to the store or online, obviously, so they can experience it whether it be online or in the store, and ultimately it's still the same brand, so you don't have to vary from brand to brand. So a good example of a convenience of having this multi-channel is customers can actually go to the store to shop, and as we said earlier, if there's not a product there, then they can order that product at the counter. Another advantage is a lot of times for the merchant side of things, a lot of times inventory can be too expensive to hold and just not feasible, but with an online platform they can do so without having to actually hold on to that inventory or store it and have a high cost of maintaining that inventory. It's also embraced social media with a presence on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter and mobile commerce. So these multi-channel merchants are also using the availability of these social sites as well. And the next one is the catalog merchants. So the catalog merchants are established companies that have a national offline catalog operation, but they also have some online capabilities as well. And obviously these catalog merchants are going to face extremely high costs associated with printing these high quality catalogs out with the color print and all this, and sending it out to all the people, or the consumers or potential consumers, obviously with postage and all the printing costs. We can see how these costs can build up pretty quickly. And obviously these firms have had a recent decline in their sales as online sales become more popular. So obviously it's led to them becoming more integrated and using both the catalog type along with their e-commerce presence. Another way that they've tried to become more competitive is to also build some storefronts as well, some bricks and mortars type thing. So the catalog merchants obviously face many of the same challenges as brick and mortar stores. They have to leverage their existing assets and competencies to new technology environment, build a credible website, hire new staff. They do have an advantage because they already possess a very efficient order entry and fulfillment systems. So obviously they're already used to that type of operations or that type of a revenue model. So they're used to having orders placed and then getting them shipped and quickly to the consumer. So LandsEnd.com is one of the most successful online catalog merchants. It started in 1963 in the basement of a Chicago building. And it just started selling sailboat equipment and clothing. Since then, it expanded into a direct catalog merchant and distributed over 200 million catalogs annually. In 1995, it launched its website and offered over 100 products and travelogue essays. So Lands End has always been one of the leading edge of online retail technologies, most of which emphasizes personal marketing and customized products. So we can see a lot of other firms have actually mimicked this type of thing, and obviously with the use of these social sites, this has helped enable the merchants and the advertisers to be able to do so with actually customizing products and making it a more of a personal marketable approach. Lands End was the first e-commerce website to allow customers to create a 3D model of themselves to try on clothing, so that's pretty cool. And in 2003, Lands End was purchased by Sears. And Sears actually incorporated many of Lands End's online techniques into their own website. And that's all I actually have for today. I wasn't planning on really holding this too long. It's kind of tough for me to stand up here and talk right now with getting stopped up and everything. But yeah, so we'll pick back up on, what is today, Wednesday? So Friday, we'll pick back up on Chapter 8 on the manufacturer direct. And just everyone just remembered about that Chapter 7 homework and the website reflection paper.
When's the Chapter 7 homework due?
I'll tell you. It's due Friday at 11:55 p.m. And I'll make the website reflection paper due Monday at 11:55 p.m. to give everyone a second chance.